I can't wait for the end of the month. I need my paycheck so I can settle all the bills. Does that sound familiar to you, ladies?
Welcome back to Smart Women Finance, a podcast dedicated to helping women empower themselves through financial awareness. And being the month of March, we still want to wish you happy Women's Month. I hope you are giving yourself enough self-care this month, being a Women's Month, right? It's focused directly on us ladies.
Yeah.
So here we have today with me is Pauline Teoh and myself, Rockin Rachel. We are actually the go-to girls at Smart Women Finance. And we're actually dedicated to helping women, whether they are single or they are, aiming for their career advancement, or you're a spouse, or even a parent, a mom to your kids, or you're approaching retirement today. This podcast is dedicated to helping you manage your daily financial struggles better with more ideas and more solutions.
We would like to inform you that whatever discussed in this topic and in this podcast is completely general advice or based on our own personal experience and opinions. If you are facing any financial issues, we do recommend that you seek consultation with a licensed financial planner. Thank you.
Today, our episode is number 4. Actually, we've already done 4 episodes. It's a milestone for us. And we are talking about the topic.
Is 50, 30, 20 rule working for you?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. This is the topic today. So we're actually talking about more on your cash flow management, right? That's what we're focusing on today. So, Pauline, I want to ask you before we go into the topic exactly.
Right.
What is, when we talk about personal finance, right? Such a big topic. Honestly, I feel like many of us don't actually know what is the real meaning of personal finance, right? Is it just insurance and investments, or is there more to it?
Okay, so I think in a nutshell, I would say that personal finance does cover 5 key areas. And predominantly, it's actually about your income, understanding how you spend the money, in terms of your savings, how you're saving money, investing the money, and of course, last but not least, on protection that you need for yourself. So these would be the 5 main areas that usually when we talk about personal finance, these are the areas that it covers.
So it's actually more than just 2 areas, which is protection, insurance protection, and also investments. It ranges. What is I think what is quite new for all of us would be the income, right, and spending part. That is actually part of your personal finance, cash management.
Yes. And I think if you want to think about personal finance on a broader spectrum as well, then there would be other areas that you might be also looking into. For example, the bigger picture of it would be goals that would actually be something that you're very excited in order to achieve, within this lifetime, this journey in life, right? So we can actually start talking about how each and every one of the goals that you have in mind, how does personal finance actually support you in your journey towards those goals, right?
Actually, you're very, very right in that. Like, I noticed that when it comes to savings, right, when I don't know the purpose of me saving this money, I feel the struggle is 10 times harder, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So like each of my savings, like what I do when I want to buy something for the year, I actually create a savings account. I mean, not account, but a fund for it. And I name the fund after what I actually want. So there's like a purpose every time I put money inside there. So it motivates me more. So I think goal planning is a very important step towards your personal finance.
Precisely. And I think in terms of personal finance as well, a lot of us have read a lot of books. I believe, you've heard a lot of podcasts out there, you've read books or articles, and some of it could be very contrasting. And I believe for myself, what actually really is important for us as an individual, right, to determine is what works well for you and you alone. Because all of us are not created the same. We are not robots. We are not machines. Okay. We don't come from the same factory. Okay. So in that sense, right, we are all unique. We need to find what is the right mechanism that works for us, the right methods that works for us, and to understand this, sometimes it helps to talk to somebody professional to really work this out, because we don't want like what do you call that, on the shelf solution. This has to be personalized. Okay. Not everybody eats pasta. Okay, so we want different type of flavors and different type of meats that actually needs to be very focused on what works well for us. And I think this is something that a lot of us need to get that part right. Okay, it's not a one solution fix. Okay, it's definitely not. It needs to be customized to us, what works well for you. Right?
Yeah. So like speaking about the 50, 30, and 20 rule, if you have not heard of this rule before, this is a rule that refers to, it's a guide actually. It's not really like a must that you must follow, but if you follow it, it will help you definitely to manage your finances better. Yeah. So it's a guide on how you can allocate the income that you receive every month.
That would be correct. So I think this 50, 30, 20 rule, if you're not familiar with it, what it actually really means is that 50% of whatever you earn, your income, goes into fixed expenses, whereas 30% of whatever you earn should be going to variable expenses, and 20% of it you save. Okay, but I would tell you ladies out there, a lot of times it is not so easy to practice. And for some people, it may not be so practical to practice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And this is why we want you to be very conscious about what works for you and what does not work well for you. Okay. Yeah. But what is very important, I think, ladies out there, you need to be very focused, is that a healthy cash flow is definitely something you want to achieve, because cash flow, I would like you to think of it as the heartbeat of your finances. The moment the heart stops beating, what happens to us? We will die, right? Same goes to our money. Okay, so the cash has actually to flow really well so that you won't feel suffocating. You won't feel having to, worry about, what happens next. It's just like what I said just now. I can't wait for my next paycheck. That's not actually a good indication. Yeah. We want to make sure that, whatever happens, whether good times or bad times, the money is still flowing very well. And that's one of the most important key factors we can actually do to make sure our money is working well for us.
Yes.
Okay. So I think,
speaking about like cash flow, I mean, when your money management is not in right order, it gives you more stress, right?
Yes.
And even to share a bit of a personal story, like before I actually entered this industry, I used to not be very financial savvy actually. And I noticed that, there was a time in my life where whatever I was saving in the beginning of the month, I would save, right? When I get my salary, the best thing to do is actually to save it first. Save what you need to save first. So I'd save that. But towards the end of the month, I would take out my savings and use it for my expenses. So it's like the purpose, right? And it actually used to make me feel very low, because it feels like I'm breaking my promise to myself. I keep breaking the promise to myself, right? So I'm not too sure if you listeners out there have experienced such a thing, but you would know that it's not in a great place. I mean, it's not the best place to be in. So that's why, but what I figured out that helped me a lot was tracking my finances. I think that is one of the keys that really helped me to see actually which the loopholes that my money keeps disappearing into, and how can I take it out, or rather find another solution for it. Yeah.
And I think this is one of the things. I mean, you're lucky, Rachel, that you're able to save at least, some money at the beginning, but having to, kind of like use the money later on. Can you imagine some people, they don't actually save at all, but whatever income they have, they're already actually using next month's income as a credit. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is where you need to be very careful as well, because a lot of us, we have one of this very dangerous tool in our wallets or in our purse, which is called the credit card. Okay, just because we can run on a credit doesn't mean that we have to run on a credit. Okay,
Yeah.
because what credit card does, or what it actually means if you're running on a credit that you can't settle, it means that you are actually using future money today. And
Yeah.
that's not right. Okay, we have to be able to manage within what we earn as of now and be able to be managing it well within the month itself.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is something that is a very powerful tip that I can actually give you, to have very clear budgets. Okay, very clear budget set. And it's very important for us to stick with this particular budget that we've set for ourselves. Otherwise, it would feel as though we're cheating, like what Rachel mentioned, cheating on yourself because you broke a promise to yourself. And that won't be right. It won't feel good at all in terms of the practice of self-love that you have for yourself when this happens. Yeah. So this is something that you need to be very good at, managing your personal budget. Okay.
Yes, exactly. But
Yeah.
speaking on that point, Pauline, I wanted to actually ask for your opinion. What would you say if we have a credit card in our wallets? Like,
Yes.
when would be the right time to actually use a credit card?
Credit card is fine for you to use however you want, so long as you can still pay for it within the paycheck that you have.
So you gotta always remember, like, if you are spending a budget of 500 credit card, then that 500 is with you when you spend it.
That's right. That's right. So what I actually do with credit cards, I mean, credit cards is a great way of, getting points, and you're actually able to redeem it for, other perks and, whatnot. But what you really want to do is set a budget for what you can use, what limits you can set for the credit card that you want to spend on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I actually do every month. So usually when I use my credit card, it's actually for things like petrol, for, when I go for grocery shopping. And with all this, I already know roughly how much I need to spend with the credit cards. So if it actually hits over this limit that I've actually set for myself, this is when I would say, stop. I will not use the credit card anymore, and I will be running on cash. Now, why is that? When you run on cash, you can only spend whatever you have in hand. Whatever that is not in hand, you can't spend it. So that would be the best and smartest way for us to actually manage ourselves, by setting a credit card budget. Okay, even though the credit card limit will tell you can spend more than that, but if you're not disciplined, who's going to be paying for this particular bill? You are. So if you don't actually manage it, it's just going to eat into your savings again, girl. So don't do it, okay?
Yeah.
Hopefully that answers.
From what I see, it's easier to manage your cash when you are a single person, right? Because you know where the money is coming. I mean, where is it going? Everything is in your hands. But for you ladies out there who are married, it can be harder because you have a partner to think about how is he spending. And actually, we would also encourage that as you do your budgeting, to discuss it with your partner.
That's right.
Do a joint budget together. What is going on in the household? Because when two people are divided in their terms of direction, there can be problems in your cash flow management. Right?
That's right. And I would say this from experience, okay? When I was newly married, one of the things that I didn't actually have very good, conversation with my husband then about money. Okay, it wasn't a very comfortable conversation that we have in Asia, right? So I remember that, we went out, he went to buy some things, I went to buy some things, and we realized that we bought exactly identical things that we don't need right now, right? How many loaves of bread do you actually need within this week itself? I'm not going to be eating 2 loaves of bread, but that is why it's very important for us to start talking about things. Because if we plan the purchases, if we're very clear who's buying what, there won't be redundancy. And that would free you money as well, okay, to spend, rather than spending on identical things, which we kind of like don't need double, right? I mean,
Yeah.
seriously. Okay, that's one example. And it gets actually harder when you have kids. I know moms, out there that have screaming kids that always wants McDonald's. I want this, I want that. Okay, it's very hard to budget, but you have to be firm in terms of what allocations of budget you're allowing your kids to spend within the week itself as well. If they are going to be spending on items which is more, okay, than what you can actually afford to buy for them, you need to find an alternative, or you need to put a stop to it. Okay, that's where moms have to be very smart in terms of diverting the kids' attention, so that, and it's actually very dangerous. And I've seen this all the time, okay, in supermarkets where kids will be screaming, I want this, I want this, I want this, right in the supermarket. And what moms do is just shut up, I'll just pick it for you and I'll just buy. Okay, that's going to burst your budget, ladies. Okay, so don't do that. So I think we need to be very careful, when we talk about budgeting, have a list. Have a list of things that you need to actually purchase when you go out for your shopping trips, and make sure you follow those lists and you buy them. If you're going to be picking any alien items not on the list, just make sure it's within the budget. Yeah, make sure it's within the budget. So what I've actually done in the past, whenever we have odd items we want to buy, I will make sure that things are on my list will be swiped first. Okay, that means checkout counters, you make sure those items that you really need for the house, those items go first. The nice to have items you kind of picked up which wasn't planned, those you check it out later, because you can see whether or not you're within the budget. Okay, as the cashier is actually checking out for you all the items that you need, right? And then you can make a call whether or not you want to have this item, yes or no. Okay, so that's what I used to do very frequently. And nowadays, I stick to the budget and also the items that I need very well. So I don't actually splurge on things that I don't need anymore.
Yeah. It's about being mindful with how you're spending as well.
Precisely.
So as you keep tracking, the main thing, firstly, is to have the budget. The budget would give you the direction. The next thing that you need to do is actually keep track of how you are following this budget. So when you do that, you know how whether or not you're still in line with your budget, or your budget's in the closet and you are somewhere else in a different direction. Right? So with that, me and Pauline, actually, we want to offer you a free session to actually come to us and do a free financial, we would say, help check on your cash flow management. It's completely a free session. We will actually help you just go through your monthly spending, a very brief one, to just see how are you doing managing your finances. If you need help in this area, if you're struggling as to how do I actually track my finances in a systematic way, or there's too many options out there, we don't know which one to follow, you can actually use this session to come on with us and discuss with us, okay, what is the best way to actually do this cash flow management for yourself in the most comfortable and easiest way for you and your schedule. Right? So you can find these links in the description below. And also don't forget to join into our community on Facebook at the SWF community. The link is also in the description below, where you can actually meet other women out there. And there are also some men in the group. That gives what we're doing is we're actually a community that is centered upon building our financial awareness. So if you are looking to focus yourself and enhance yourself in this area, one of the best things you can do for yourself is to mix with people who have the same goal in mind, right? Because it gives you that accountability, it gives you that motivation to do so. So do go ahead and join and subscribe to our our Facebook group in the link given in the description below.
Yeah, precisely. Right? So I think for women out there, if you're really struggling with your finances, don't struggle alone. We're here to help you. Okay, so just feel free to connect with us and we'll see what we can do in order to make the budget that you're looking for work for you.